So here's the Metsään machine's Stochastic Asymmetry, and this one has a built-in Echoblender. You might have seen Echoblender on this channel. If not, then I recommend you do that. There's a couple of videos with some demos of this device. It's a delay distortion combination based on Casper Electronics Echoblender with a little bit different configurations. And yeah, well, the last video I've uploaded was the Stochastic Asymmetry. That's down here. We'll just go very quickly through it, and then this will be mostly sounds, I think. So Stochastic Asymmetry has 5 oscillators. 2 of those are LFOs, they're here, and 3 of those are regular oscillators, faster than the LFOs. And this one is the highest, this is the mid frequency, and this is the lowest of those frequency ranges. They of course overlap, and each of them has a toggle switch here that selects one of 2 ranges. So the upper position is the higher range of this oscillator's frequency band, and the lower position is the lower frequency range. Then each of these oscillators has a toggle switch that selects the latch or the trigger mode. If trigger mode is activated, then it is in the upper position. Then this trigger is active, meaning you can trigger the oscillator and temporarily send it into the next stage of signal processing, which is here. These 2 knobs are the sound shaping. This one is something like a distortion, and this is like a resonant low pass filter, and they change a little bit their amount of influence on the sound depending on other settings, mostly on the starve setting, which is here. Starve setting is a setting that makes the circuit of the oscillators unstable and creates a longer or slower decay in the case you are using this white button here, which is the power trigger, which is, if it is in the uppermost position, it is in latch mode, which is different than on the oscillators. In future builds I will change that, because now it is a little bit confusing, to be honest. So in upper mode it is in latch mode, power latch. The power is constant, but it is still starved by this knob here. You see that the lights come on. So if this is down, you have the trigger mode for the power, and depending on this setting the power is used up faster or slower, in a faster or slower rate, if depending on the setting of this knob. Then we have the 2 LFOs, as mentioned before. The LFOs have a frequency dial here, and they have the same as the oscillators and the power, latch or trigger mode. Trigger is interesting mostly, I think, if it's in the faster range of the speed setting, and then you can create some kind of triggered tremolos on the oscillators. And they are really slow. Might change that in the future, I'm not sure, but here in the first builds it is really slow, because I am interested in like slowly evolving polyrhythmic patterns to create seemingly stochastic or random soundscapes. But it goes also really fast, and if it's all the way clockwise, then you will actually get in high frequency range, which is creating a whole other set of noises. And then here we have a volume control, and after that it goes into the delay. Let's make a little beep. Well, that was more like a fart. Here's a bum, and here's a squeak. But it doesn't matter, because I haven't explained the the Echoblender yet. The Echoblender is up here. It's a delay distortion, as mentioned before. It has, interestingly, a volume control for the dry signal here, and it has a volume control for the wet signal here. Meaning, differently than to have a mix button or just a wet that blends into the always on dry signal, like on many delays, you can adjust both volumes individually, which, if you play a lot with feedbacks and self-oscillation of the delay, becomes more interesting than if you would just have a mix or blend, because here you can crank both up all the way, or you can individually fade one out or in. One thing that needs to be understood is that in the Echoblender, like in many of these kind of delays, the repeats are low pass filtered. The repeats are very dark and low frequency heavy. They cut out and do not even repeat the very high frequencies. That's how it is. Here are the repeats. The repeats start generating self-oscillation of the delay almost already at 12 o'clock, and gets even more from there, and even more if you engage this here, which is the feedback, which already you can hear it self-oscillating. So even with that you can just with that you can play already a lot. Feedback is also creating, if you for example have this in very low setting, it creates, it's like a distortion. Well, this is already playing. Did I say everything? Yeah, time is here, you have seen it already. The delay time is here. This is coarse time, this is fine time. So you can fine tune the time from so even with the fine time, even with the fine time you already get like super long, for this kind of delay, super long delays. And if you use the coarse time you get very glitchy artifacts and really destroyed sounds that you usually would not want to have with these kinds of delays. But since we're in the noise, even more so in the harsh noise territory, this is very interesting to have like super glitchy. To mention that this toggle switch here selects two different ways of mixing the oscillators. One is more noisy, the other is more linear. I think the more noisy ones is in the bottom. I said it's in the up in the other thing, but let's check it out. sounds like it's more noisy in the bottom their position. Yeah, so the last bit was just the Echoblender mashing itself, and yeah, maybe this is enough. I will build more of those combo cans because I still have a bunch of those Echoblender boards, and in the future there will be more of those. They sold out really fast, and I'm really thankful for that. So thanks to everybody who hit the buy button, and yeah, stay detuned.